And hello everyone, before this video begins, I would like to say that I'm restarting the Sunnyland 2D series because, well, I don't feel like I explained anything well enough, and I want you guys to get knowledgeable on this topic, and I don't want you guys to be confused on what certain parts mean, because I don't want you just to copy and see what I do. I want you guys to learn. I don't want you guys just to copy and look at it. I want you to be able to look at the code and understand what it means as best as possible. And I don't think the original series did that. Well, the original 2 episodes did that. So I decided to redo this with a script, with anything that I remembered, with stuff I found by looking at the Unity guide, which I will leave in the description, and along with the new version we'll be using and Unity Hub. If I did not leave that in the last episode, if you guys don't know how to download them, everything will hopefully be in the description this time. So let's begin. Right, everyone. So first things first, if you have not downloaded Unity Hub, go to the description. I will leave the version. Well, I'll leave the download link for that and the version which we'll be using, which is 2021.3.22 F1. I believe there are multiple things, and my mouse is not recording. Oh, I just wasn't clicking the application, that's why the mouse wasn't showing. Okay, then. So, first things first, if you're not seeing the other 2 episodes, what we basically do is go to New Project, wait for this to load, and if you have multiple versions, you just come up here, click on the version. We are using this one right here, which is the latest one I have, 2D. Give it a name you remember, and just choose your locations and choose your file location. For me, I'm just doing it in my my separate hard drive, and then once it loads, it should open the project and everything beforehand. So once I do that, I'll switch things over now. Okay, I've switched everything in order. So for an introduction to the Unity Hub, we will go over some basic controls if you do not know them already. So first things first, scroll wheel zooms you in and out. If you hold the middle mouse button, you'll be able to pan around with the mouse button. And by the way, I'm not actually reading from the script right now. I'm actually just doing it from the top of my head, and I'll look at the script when I feel like I need to. So Q, we go to hand tool. If you hold left click, you can do the same thing as the middle mouse button, just pan around. So you scroll wheel to. Actually, no, yeah, and no, that's usually what you do. I have to say, if you want to like move around and zoom, scroll, let's do the left click and middle mouse of Q, or actually right click works too. It seems I did not know that. I think I don't know. I know right click is for Blender. I think. Okay, so W. If you have a game object, this would be the move key. You can move things around, which I don't move the camera, but not leave it how it is. See E. Yeah, if you do middle mouse button, it will switch you back to your handle automatically. You try to pan around, but it'll switch you back to your previous one. So R, I got camera. R is the scale tool. Yeah, R scale tool highlights them. You can see them all here. I skipped E. E is the rotate tool. We don't have anything done yet. But alright, there's a 2D button here. If you click that, you go into 3D mode and you can rotate and see how everything's moving and whatnot. Still don't want to mess with that and click on 2D. And there's a lighting button up here. Audio, if you have audio on and off, and you can hide everything with this button here. And see, this is a shading mode. A lot of this stuff is new. It's like this used to be different. It would just be on the top thing, like of it, instead of like being like this, it was more side view. But I'm not gonna mess with anything. This is new, I believe. Don't know. No, then okay. After I put the wrong thing here. ERT. So T is the rect tool. This is scale 2. T is the rect tool. Will not do anything here, but basically it does everything the 3 previous tools did all in one. Anyway, I'll show you more of it once we get stuff loaded. So if I click introduction, first thing we'll do is importing Sunnyland. So to do that, we'll go to Windows, Package Manager, and just click on that. I'm just gonna drag it up here. So, you guys don't. Wait, I opened the wrong thing. It was the asset store I have to open. Oh, no, that's moved. That no longer works. My bad. No, it's a package manager. So, you guys only have to go to the Unity asset store, which I will leave a link to Sunnyland in the description below. I'll leave a link to that in the description below so you guys can download that. Just make sure to sign into the website, sign into the Unity Hub, and sign in here if it asks you to sign in. So, but once you go to the package manager after that, we're going to go to My Assets. Wait for this to load. I have a lot of assets. It should be your bottom one down here. Yeah, I'm going to click re-download just in case there's an update. I don't think there's an update. So then we're going to click import. Just going to wait for that to go on. Import again. And then we'll wait for that. Okay, so just a warning, my voice sounds stable. It's because I'm moving my microphone around. Just so it can be better while I'm reading the script. Just so I know what I'm doing for the most part, in case I have to. Oh yeah, so this game view is where it'll load up, how you see the game whenever you click play here, but I don't have anything loaded, so it'll just be plain blue, which you can change the color by going onto the camera, but for default it's blue for some reason. For this project, for our background for this tutorial, we'll be using something called Tilemaps for the background and foreground of the game. So if you don't know, the foreground are objects that appear on the front of the background, such as the land, the NPCs, and occasionally you can have like buildings or obstacles that would be considered the foreground. And with Tilemaps, you can paint your background using images either pre-made or create your own background with Tilemaps if you want to attempt it. You can even create animated Tilemaps such as waterfalls or twinkling stars. And the Tilemaps start off as squares, but you can alter the grid size and the grid game object to change them to any rectangular sheet. Yeah, that was a bit awkward. My script's a bit awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so first things first, to get to the tile map, so go to Window, 2D, Tile Palette, and open that up, and leave it here. So if you notice, the Sunnyland assets actually start us off with the tile palette for the background. Everything should actually be the same size as already. And the next thing we're going to do is right click here, 2D objects, tile map, and we're going to do rectangular. And for this one, we'll name it background. Then we're going to do Control D to duplicate, F2 to rename, F2 to rename, we're going to name it foreground, and just leave it just like this. Okay, so after that, we're going to go to the Sunnyland folder down here, double click it, and double click on environment, and then background hue. I'm just going to move that up a bit. Yeah, so there's a new hotkey once you get when you get this is B for paint, and that's how you paint tile maps. And I'm just gonna close that up a little bit more. Okay, so for all assets, everything in here, we are going to say pixels per unit to 16, and we'll need you to apply it so it counts. But for the background, we are going to go to non-one instead of where is it? There it is, sprite mode, we're going to change it to multiple. And let's see, hold on a second. Yeah, then we're going to apply it. Then go over to the sprite editor, a window like this should open up. You click on slice, and then grid cell size by cell size. change it to 16 by 16 for this one. May not work for everything. For this one, we will be doing 16 by 16, as this is a 16 by 16 grid. And I'm going to leave it at safe. This is a new feature method, so I don't know what's your best. I'm going to switch to smart. Let's do that and click apply. Then you can just close that out. Go to our tile palette and create a new palette called background. Sort mode, we'll leave it on default, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to create that. It should open your file. I'm just going to leave it in a folder called tile set. Select that there, and then we can just drag our image here. But I'm just going to leave it in tile set as well, and just wait for that to load. Okay, that is done. Everything should have loaded. But before we begin painting, go back to the hierarchy, go back to the background here, and I gotta check something real quick. Okay, now I'm gonna go to sorting layer, add a sorting layer, and I'm gonna add two of them. This layer one will be background. Actually, I'm gonna add three. This middle one will be entity, and the third one will be foreground. So if you want to have stuff in the front of the player, you'd probably put them in the foreground here. Everything else will probably be in no. Wait, no, I'm not getting confused. No, you leave it like that. So now we're gonna go to the tile palette, just highlight all this, and like drag and drop it probably around the center. But we're gonna change the camera later on, so just do whatever you want and just paint as far as you think you'll need to. You may have to add more later. But make sure you are on the Tilemap called background when you are painting this. And I think no, I do not. Yeah, I'm just gonna go this far. That should be good for now. Now then, we are going back to the main tile palette and switching our active tile map to foreground. And we will be painting. Something happened. They switched. No, they did not, because we forgot to do the sorting layers. Got to enable them so they actually show up properly. There you go. So now they should show up properly. And in the camera, I'm just gonna switch this to like 15. Wait, no, I think actually leave it at 8. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that at 8. Yeah, actually, no, we'll leave it at 5 for now. Pretty sure you can adjust this as you want, but I think I'm gonna leave it at 8. And I'm gonna do the something and delete all of this and move it down by 1, which is a real simple. I can show that right now. I have to move to the background, go to this tool here, which is U, not U, which is M. Just high, not this one, isn't it? Oh, the ink drop tool. There it goes. Just highlight all this. And ship, it is I, then we're going to do D to delete it all. And then we will go to paintbrush and paint in a new background like that. Voila, quick and easy fix. Now, if this camera changes later on, we will be able to get this grid a certain size, but I think, I honestly don't know if I leave it at, if I like it at 5 or 8. Actually, just gonna leave it at 5 for now until I figure out how I want it, but you guys can switch it however you want. So in this tile here, I'm just gonna make a little background here, just for us to start off with. And I in the wrong layer. Oops. Just gonna do something like this, and you guys can make your starting platform however you want. I'm doing something semi-simple, just because I can. Now, when you guys do stuff like this, you can probably switch it to the background, just so you're not making a whole bunch of tile maps overlap one another. Because I feel like this would be the safer option than having everything overlap. Like, you can have some stuff overlap, or you can probably have these overlap and they'll be fine, but I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Just do what you want. I'd say if you want to switch it to the background when you do the middle stuff like this, then go ahead. If you don't want to, just leave it in the foreground. And I'm just gonna leave that there. Alright, so what I want you guys to do now, do it all on your own. I want you to build a level using whatever you want, build it however you want. Doesn't even have to be like a platform game. You can have it like a long straight path of mountainous terrain and all that, just to make it interesting to you guys. Alright guys, so for now I am done building my level. So the next thing I'm going to do is, when you notice, if you go to game, you can see we have some lines here. Now that's because this time maps are not 100% 16 by 16 pixels. They are a tiny, tiny bit smaller. So what we're going to do to fix this is go to the grid and change all these to 0.99 for every single one. Now I think it's 0.9 is actually the one the grid cell size thing uses, but a 9.9. Let's see, actually my script says it. Nope. Got a lot of stuff in my script. I actually can think I'm just leave it at 0.9 because nothing's showing. And actually, I think we do 0.99, we get more stuff. I'm just gonna check 999. See how that looks. Can't really tell until we have a moving object, but oh well. I think I'm actually gonna have the camera go to 8, just so we have a bit more room to see stuff around us. Or actually, 7. Leave it as 7 for now. So, next thing I'm going to do is go into the, let's see, so the next thing I'm going to do is go into the adding components. And so over here is the inspector window, and if I didn't mention already, the hierarchy window is right here. This is where all of our game objects, everything we add into the game will appear here. And the inspector window over here is where all of our settings, all the changes we do, they will all appear here. So, the first thing we are going to do, let me see. Yes, I made sorting layer sorted down, so I went ahead of myself a bit in my script. So, either way, first thing I'm going to do, so in our foreground layer, we are going to add a rigid body 2D, and I'll explain more of what that is later. And we will make sure it is static, so it doesn't change anything, nothing moves around. Then we add a Tilemap collider 2D and enable use by effector. I'm gonna add an effector. See a platform. Wait. Oh, wrong one. A composite collider 2D is what we're gonna add next. Then enable use by effector. Then add an vector, a platform effector 2D would be the last thing we add. And we enable, and we'll enable use collider mask. That's already opened. Then we open this menu here and disable use one way. I see why we should. Okay, something messed up here. Oh, use by composite. Forgot to enable that here. Gonna enable the. Where'd it go? Yep, we have to enable use by composite here, and yeah, that's probably why you should have not have it like this, but oh well, it should not mess with anything. Yeah, I was lazy and didn't do it on all of them. I didn't at least 3, 2. Man, that's a good test to see if it'll break anything or not. Just so you guys, just so I can prepare more for the player. And this large space will be used in the future, but if you want, so like have a good decent sized space pre-built here and just build as long as you map if you want to do. If you want to go do something else for that, you can go into here, environment, props, make sure to change everything to a 16 by 16 tile set, and you can add these bushes around, which if you do, make sure they are sent to a open additional entities and change to like entity foreground, and they're not going to show up because they're too small. That's why you got to change the tile set. You can do that. Or I think they actually will be able to show up on a grid. That is not something I know, so I'm actually leaving on entity, so it's below. Actually, no, if you do foreground sorting layer, you change it to like -1. It should stay behind everything else except go too far. It's gonna go through the wall here. Actually, I'm gonna do this do test for you guys so you guys don't have to do it. And see multiple spray. Yeah, I'm gonna apply that. Can we slice it to a 16 by 16? No, you cannot. It is too big. I'll have to revert, do that, and set single. So yeah, cannot go in a scale grid. So you're most likely gonna have to do is just estimate where you want it to go. Estimate where you want these to go, whether you want all of them to be. Because you cannot put them down on the grid. Or at least a grid that's a 16 by 16 cell size. Let's see, these is a 46 by 28, and these big blocks here are actually 16 by 16. So is the crate. So a lot of the flora does not seem to be in correct cell size. You can tell if it's correct cell size if you divide by 16 and get a number back. That's not a decimal. So let's see. Ooh, spikes on new actually. Oh, I can do something of that to show you guys. I just gotta, yeah. Well, yeah, we can do something with the spikes. So if you guys want to see that, leave a comment in small platform. Why is it platform? I don't know. We can do signs here as well. So I can do text. I can show you guys text and more platforms there, okay? You can do stuff with the levers as well. We can get some rotating stuff, the platforms, like a bridge or something, a bridge of some sort, maybe. Oh yeah, guys, experiment with how you want to place like these rocks. Maybe have some houses around, some scenery. If you guys want to do spikes, I will show spikes, like moving spikes that go like up and down. I can do that. And have some of these rocks around. You can even do this, which I've seen, and it's not even the right size either. I've seen the tutorial do it. They have it as part of the background as something like this. Like something right here, which I think they duplicate it along the way, which I think it is possible. It does line up. I can't really tell. You guys try doing that. You can probably have it be a tile map. Let's see. I'm actually going to calculate that real quick for you guys. And the answer is yes. You can have this as a tile map. So you also have this be its own separate background if you guys want, which I suggest making a new background tile map here to have this on, due to some of these background stuff they have. So you can have the sky be in the back, and you have this be in the back as well. So as because if you just leave it here, this will most likely will not be transparent. That's why these are on two separate tile maps with layers, because without the layers, they may just be on one layer combined with one another. So like, if any of these have transparency, does this corner does? Yeah, I don't think it does. Well, if you do stuff that does have transparency, like this stick here or these plants even, yeah, I can show like this. Transparency here is all messed up. Got this plant here, but yeah, I can do stuff like this. Have this around. I may do that eventually. You can have leaves, which I think are for these branches actually. Actually, they don't look good. But I will show ladders. See, there are some stumps here. I don't know what those are. If you guys actually know what these are, feel free to tell me, because I don't. Like a lot of stuff I have not messed around with in this tile set. If you haven't noticed, see there's some light. I can attempt a lighting, maybe. Got some big bushes. May just add some of these around. Just add some decorational stuff, which I don't know what most of this stuff is. Well, if these are weeds, just tall grasses of different sorts. I don't know, but I'm just gonna add some around, and you have these all slope pieces. Even the slope pieces will have that block pot, which I don't know why I didn't think of doing that earlier as an example. But yeah, there's a lot. Experiment as much as you can if you want to. But I'm just gonna do that quick stuff, and yeah, I know we didn't get to the play of this episode, but it's already like half an hour long, and if editing makes it shorter, I may come back and do the player. Who knows? If we do the player, we do the play. If not, I will see you guys in the next episode where I'll go into actual coding. And yes, I will do actual coding in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next episode.